7 minutes past 7, Uganda says it has intensified its anti-corruption campaign under President Yoweri Museveni's directive of Kisanja, no more sleep, no more corruption. Initiated following his swearing in for a new term, the crackdown focuses heavily on infrastructure, parliamentary spending, and local government administration. Yesterday, 6 government senior employees were fired over financial irregularities and mismanagement of major infrastructure projects. To discuss this further, we're joined by Harold Kaija, who is the Deputy Chief or Cabinet for the People's Front for Freedom Party. It's a prominent Ugandan opposition political party. A very good morning to you, Harold, and thank you so much for speaking to us.
Good morning, my friend. Good morning. How are you?
Thanks.
How
So
is South Africa?
just what are your impressions about this campaign, and the saying, who will guard the guardians? Because I'd imagine that those who already face major crackdowns as a result of speaking out around corruption are not part of this campaign to end corruption. Or am I wrong in my assumption?
No, you're right. You're right. You're right. Apparently, for you are seeing it as news, but here in Uganda, many Ugandans seem to look at it as if it's comedy because a lot of money has been stolen in this country, and it seems nobody seems to care. Even when you hear there are some arrests, after 2 weeks they're given bail, and that's where it ends. Because 181 million US dollars is not little money. Just a few weeks ago, we just learned that money that was meant to pay Uganda's debts was wired to different accounts in the UK. And afterwards, that money disappeared from the accounts, and the accounts were closed. Money meant to pay loans. And these are big monies. That was 18 million US dollars. Another about 60, is it about 14 million US dollars, was wired to accounts in Korea. And then that money disappeared. The former IGG in Uganda said that about 10 trillion Uganda shillings every year are stolen from the budget. 10 trillion Uganda shillings every year stolen from the budget. And nobody came from the Minister of Finance or even the President to say, what can we do? And the lady proposed that we can do a lifestyle audit. When she proposed a lifestyle audit, the President stopped her and said, if you have a lifestyle audit, people are going to run out with the money and take it to some other countries. So there is basically no political will. Thieves are known. The President knows them. I think apparently fears them because they wield a lot of power. So Ugandans are just helpless. You see money stolen, we have bad roads. Money stolen, we don't have hospitals. No drugs, no hospitals, no nothing. That's where we are.
I want to look at the 6 government employees that were fired yesterday. The president alleges that these were engineers that deliberately altered the Busega-Mpigi Expressway route to benefit from fresh land compensation. So these allegations, on face value, are Ugandans believing what the president is saying, or are they being used as a possible scapegoat to show that the government is serious about this anti-corruption campaign?
It's what I told you earlier. In Uganda, it's bizarre because they know they are arrested after 2 weeks, they are released. Because that insiders trading is common on every project. Whenever there is compensation, like if it's a road, these guys go and buy land where the road will pass. So if it is compensation, it is them that benefit. Because how do you push a road from free land and then you go to a wetland. Okay? So you are paid, but it's also very expensive to pass the road in a wetland. So that money is stolen, another will be stolen on every project. There's a project of a specialized hospital. One Japanese had proposed that he would give us a specialized hospital at $60 million. They brought a carpenter, an Italian carpenter, and they said she would give us a specialized hospital at $371 million. Is that rocket science to see the difference? It's huge. We are supposed to get that hospital in months. Now, more than 5 years, we can't see the hospital. The Minister of Health is not allowed to go and even see the site of the hospital. Parliament is not allowed to go and visit the site. Who is telling that? We have had projects where they say, is it they're going to dry the bananas and have banana powder so that we export banana powder. A lot of money has been sunk in that project. We have never seen a kilogram of banana powder. There is something called, there's a sugarcane factory in an area which is not known for sugarcane plantations. A lot of money has gone there, huge millions of dollars. So when you hear 6 people arrested, 680 billion, we wait and see. A few weeks you'll hear they've been given bail, and that's where it ends.
Harold.
So it hurts. It is annoying. Ugandans are burning with anger. They can't speak, because you know what that money can do. It is huge money in a country where about 40 districts of the 140 districts do not have a single hospital. But such money can go, and it's donor money. It's those are loans. We will pay the loans, and they will go. Of money that we paid, we have just completed a debt. It's almost a debt of money with. They say that Uganda stole from DRC $10 billion when we lost a case in the ICU.
Now, I want to talk about what has been reported quite a lot, that often in cases of corruption is that anti-corruption efforts tend to stem from the presidency. And I'm just wondering about the institutional integrity and efficacy, if it is up to the president to intervene. Why is this the case? And are there any legal statutes that are resulting in this phenomenon?
Yes, the laws are there. As I told you, the laws are there, but there's no political will. It's what I told you. You'll hear they're arrested, but in 1 or 2 weeks, you'll see them out. And the moment they get bail, that's the last you'll hear about that case. And that money goes. Eventually, you'll see them transferred to some other departments, and you'll hear them on another big projects. There is a cartel of group of Ugandans who will always find in every good job. They always follow where there's big monies. So for them, they follow big monies. And then you ask, are they on their own or the big money on behalf of any other person? You hear the president tells you, this one stole money, but I forgave them. You forgave them. Then what happens to the taxpayer? Others are forgiven even before the judgment is made. Because our constitution says prerogative of mercy by the president is when somebody is convicted. But before the conviction, you'll hear the president recently forgave some MPs that they came and told him the truth. That money was taken. So that money goes.
And what I'm trying to understand is that why does it lie with the president to make that system. And I know there's been criticism about the lack of independence of Uganda's judicial system. And I'm just trying to understand if there is going to be institutional reform, if indeed this campaign is going to be successful, where does it begin if we are seeing interventions come from the presidency?
I must tell you, there's no political will. This is PR. Sometimes he does it after some donors have refused to give him money. And after he gets the money, I won't tell you, you'll call me when you've also learned that these guys are out and running and back to their jobs. You know, all systems in this country have collapsed. It's why today you hear the military arrests. Yes, the mandate of the military is to protect the country. You hear an army chief talking politics, and it's okay. So everybody who has a connection to the president has a lot of power. You hear in-laws are all over. You hear relatives are all over. You hear friends are all over. So if somebody has a connection to the president, that is an institution of its own. You know, I've been calling here to follow up the case of Dr. Kizza Besigye and how it is being managed. Any paralegal, not even just a lawyer, will see the hands of the judge are being squeezed. So it's the same with this case. There is no will to fight against corruption in our country. No will. About, actually, if I gave you the number of times since the president came, it's about 140 times where he launches a group of people to fight corruption. Today, zero corruption. I have appointed ABCD. He appoints them. Tomorrow there is corruption. He appoints another one, about 150 times. New groups formed to fight corruption. New groups formed to fight corruption. And it's still, actual corruption is the engine, or it's the oil that pushes the government in power. I want to believe the day they stop corruption, they will be out of office. Because everybody, nobody you can speak about who's not corrupt in this campaign. None. Whatever you try to hear, if you say so and so is not corrupt, they say he's not corrupt. They tell you this, and then you get scared. This one owns this one owns this one owns this. His kids go to school in Canada, and the other goes there. So somebody has buildings in Dubai, in South Africa, and then so that is how we move in this country. 40 years is not something small when somebody is controlling people. There is no regime that has been in power for 40 years, and then you're talking about fighting corruption. The only thing that can fight corruption is the exit, a transition from Mr. Museveni to another new government.
Very briefly, Harold, I know you're saying that it's simply rhetoric. So what do you think Ugandans ought to expect to see over the next couple of weeks or months? Because if there's somebody or people who are going to be in the crosshairs who are fighting corruption, how will that manifest?
Actually, if you are able to see what Ugandans are saying on social media, you'll see that they gave up long time ago on this government. It is some of us who are political activists who even talk about this money. People just sit and you see them laughing in the bar, in the taxes. Actually, they say, these guys are lucky. Whatever they go is money. You know, people even call it all sorts of names. They gave up on these guys because they know there is no will. And in most cases, those that you see that are arrested are those who could be having a collusion with someone. And when they go there, apologize, they got scot-free. You remember when this term was starting, we had been told the Speaker of Parliament was corrupt. But she was corrupt with her deputy. The deputy was installed back as deputy speaker. I saw an online paper saying the brother to the president, where the former speaker of the region where she comes from, went to him to beg that their daughter is not taken to court. The person who stole, then the guy said, no, her cases are beyond stealing. She annoyed some people. So that tells you, if she had not annoyed some very strong people, as General Saleh said, possibly she would still be speaker and corruption would not be an issue.
Okay, Harold,
So
I'm
the
afraid
weapon
we have
corruption,
run out of time, and
oh,
I
thank
really
you.
do appreciate your time, your candor, and your thoughts on this. Harold Kaija is speaking to us as the Deputy Chief of Cabinet for the People's Front for Freedom Party, a prominent Ugandan opposition political party.
Where Africa's morning finds its voice.